I don't understand.
Let me show you the moves.
Take a look at the shoes. Take a look at the jewels. What's up?
Yo, we're here, showroom, Billionaire Culture, with me, fashionably bitchy, and we're here with your boy, D. Chamberz.
What's up? It's your boy D. Chamberz, 6'2", no time for that small talk. You know I'm G5 flying, 11224 boys, living with that warrior mentality. Morris Chestnut in this rap shit, man.
Morris Chestnut. Where did that come from?
Little actors and stuff I do on the side, holding it down for BBG, Big Ball Gang, all my brothers that's dark skin, right? Stuff like that.
You might have to be on one man one, you know?
Hey, listen, you know, shit, I used to be the Blackjack Triple, you know? You know what I'm saying? We just keep going.
Okay, wait,
Be a part of the culture.
Hold on, so 6'2", no time for the small talk. What's that about?
A lot of the times, you know, people don't realize I am 6'2", right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the conversation, I realize I'm very short patient when things don't make sense. So like if I start looking down, I feel like it's small talk, I'm out of it. So has nothing to do with height, it just had a lot to do with the height of the conversation. It was just like
I like the metaphor, I like
if it's small talk, I don't know.
Okay. So now, I heard the zip code, you know, Coney, Brooklyn, that's where you from. Let me guess, you know Lance Stevenson.
I mean, who doesn't? Even LeBron James know Lance.
What is that about? Everybody from Coney Island, I know Lance Stevenson.
But you know what's a beautiful thing? I'm glad you say Lance Stevenson, but like, I was always inspired by like Stephon Marbury. He was like the first person to me that made it out of the hood. Then like Sebastian Telfair, then Lance had like a real marketing industry impact. He went through a lot of teams here. You know, he was very competitive. He's in the streets, and you know the people love him. So we all support him the same way we support everybody else that's playing.
Okay. Record label, Warrior Mentality.
Yeah, that's WMMG, but I'm under management, under Soundbite, Josh. But I created WMMG because I wanted to be a consultant media thing more than anything. Because I do a lot of outsourcing outside of music, from like radio shows, concerts, and just, you know, being a liaison in the United States. I used to just say New York City. I would like to say United States, even international at this point.
Okay, so you've expanded and branched yourself out.
The office is downtown, Soundwrite Studio.
Downtown where?
Downtown Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
8 minutes away.
No, you have to let the people know where you are. How we gonna find you? Say downtown. Everybody gotta know.
Downtown Brooklyn, you 100% right, sister. Soundwrite Studio, Warrior Mentality Music Group. You hit any of those pages, you'll find me.
See, you heard it here first. How about that?
They heard it. But it's just,
no, you know, on this, like, you know, you heard it here first, like, you know.
But I mean, if on fashion was bitching. You know what I'm saying? If they wasn't bitching about fashion, they would have heard it.
Spicy!
I'm just saying. And the blue check the memory. Blue check the style.
Excuse me.
No, we stop. You know what I mean? But you know, it's all good. Just the grind is there, and like I like to say like I like to take the mobile approach on things. Before I used to just think like I always wondered like how things work, like how it's like when people go to shows, they look at the artist, right? Mm-hmm. I'm looking for who put this thing together. Like I'm like, yo, that always amazed me. Like, yo, who did that? Yo, who was behind the lights? And you know what I'm saying? And that's what made me want to just like understand the industry more.
Okay, so how long have you been in the industry?
I think I've been in the industry long enough to know what the hell I'm doing. Now let me stop. But I would say like I was always around music from, you know, late 90s as like a 90s teenager, not knowing what was going on. Early 2000s I still was just like caught in the streets with, you know, hoop dreams deflated. And I just think like, you know, after some, you know, little short term, some state greens, I decided that music was the best choice for me because it wasn't just like I was in Neanderthal too, because I did go to school, I was in college.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I thought I was going to be a sports star.
Okay, educate the people on that, see?
No, for real. So when some people be like, yo, you have education, you talk smart, because I am educated, I was street smart, I had best of both worlds. So, you know, don't ever underestimate that. Like, even for your street guys, you gotta know what you're doing, because they'll say you're a mastermind just for being educated. So you just make sure your mastermind is towards something positive. So when I started thinking like that, that's when things started to make sense. So, and in my mind, my career started kicking in after like 2015. And that's like after Uncle Murder Shake the Block, then the Normal Rose, I was able to be in the strip clubs.
Okay.
Then in 2017, French Door record that was produced by D Nice. Once I DJ self-played that on the record, it's just like a lot of people call amnesia. I was worth a little bit more, and I just maintained that balance around it to this day.
Sure, this is what's going on.
Bro, shout out to Drop, like, and he can tell you, like, he seen me a lot, like, he saw me, like, even in this game while I'm on radio, big shirt, big chain on the train, like, chasing this dream. I didn't let nothing stop me or ride, like, I always had cars, but you know, when your license suspended, you still gotta get there. And I think that year my little license suspended and going through programs and stuff, I was like, none of my friends got a car, like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's like, nobody. No, a lot of people, my friends that did have cars, they had 9-to-5s, families, and they not hanging out 3 in the morning because somebody with a camera there. Like, sometimes when people be forgetting, there's a lot of people that deal with reality, more people that are dreaming.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So,
that's a whole.
I'm a big dreamer.
That's why you wear so many hats.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a hustler, right?
Prepping it on your hats.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? But I think you have to because like sometimes you can just sit in the studio, eventually you're gonna get hungry. I encourage people. I just say
hurt yourself too thin because if you can't get a handle on, you
don't chase other people too long.
Too much.
I would just say don't spend too many years supporting people that just don't support you equally.
That's a fact.
And I think
it's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah, and that's why when people be like, yo, how long you been in the industry? It's like the real question is how much you learned while you was in the industry. You know, because you can be in the industry for years. I see people for years in the industry, like, they just hear it now. Like, they don't even care if 2 people down with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do it for, barbecues and just say I still rap. Like, for real. You know, there's some people that are like, you laugh because you know a couple of news back there. You ain't just sitting at the barbecue. You got like, yo, you know I still got it, right? You go by the car. The words be like for 4 years ago and shit. Yeah, let's just go down. Trust me.
Are you into opening doors for newer artists or like are you?
I think it's funny that people say that. I think some people say that's all I'm really known for. And I've been like accused of like helping too many people more than myself. So some people like Chamberz, you'd have been on, you ain't spend time with this nigga, what's that? And there's a lot of people I realize who check the game table. A lot of people that do it for themselves do go further, but it's a difference when you help people and the support you get back is like, I think that's unmatched. Like, as much as you would want it to be like that guy and you getting that bag, but nobody really like you. So it's just like, you come around.
Man, ain't that the truth?
Yeah, they come around and they just look at the camera, that nigga's soft. They hate you. Like, but if you be like, nah, I'm messing with him, you look out for me, and when you have like some type of bond, that don't mean like just give oranges to the whole village. Because some people, they just want to get strength to knock you out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta be, you gotta be aware of that. It's heavy on that.
Heavy on it. Okay. I heard I'm feeling like I'm French record.
Right.
Good record. Situation about that. If you want to touch on it, we can touch on it. If you don't,
I mean, it's really not a situation. It's just like, how about this one? I notice when I listen to the radio, a lot of artists are feeling like something. Like, I feel like I kind of like brought that niche to the game. I like how Jordan Lucas felt like Will Smith. Will Smith did it.
Right.
J. Cole did it, feeling like Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Kevin Hart did it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like I was paying homage basically to a hustler from New York City. And like, it's all small talk because I know a lot of people behind the scenes. And I'm smart enough to believe he probably don't even know what the hell's going on, like with his own page. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody else running his page.
At that point, it gets to that point.
Yeah, so there's like Chamberz just relaxed. But the only thing I have a problem with is the sound, like a certain production was like symbolic, and sometimes you can't blame the artist because a producer can watch your Instagram and take samples and shop it. And if they jump to it, it's like, if you know my sound, you know who to shop it to. So that's why I'm more open to just say, oh, somebody stole my stuff, right? You know, so I have to start thinking a little bit.
Smart.
Right.
I got you. Okay. So you've been doing music for a while. I know you've done collabs with so Drewski.
Yeah, shout out to Drewski. Like I knew Drewski before, when he was working with Sight Sounds, Angie Martinez into who he is today. And he always supported me. But I also know, like, for a large gap, like for 5 years, I was around the battle rap culture. So me coming up from Smack, I was just dealing with diss records, dissed on stage in front of thousands of people. So like I wasn't able to focus on what gets on radio. How do I get on these bigger stages? And that's why I said once I start locking in on that part of the game, I think that's when I understood like how to make it a career.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I came in this game aggressive. I came in this game dissing.
And that's hard.
Yeah. No, it's not hard.
No, not meaning the art of it, but meaning like it becomes hard because you seem more difficult.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you the gift and the curse of that. The gift and the curse of that is that everybody knows what's going on. And they'll be like, oh, you crazy, yo, this, that, and third. But then there's a group of people like, oh, I don't mess with him, that's my man. And then it's like, some people will tell you, real publicity is,
Publicity in itself.
In itself. But in reality, you might be closing doors, you might not even be opening nothing but a casket. So I started saying like, all right, let me get the records that make sense to get, in clubs. And I worked my way through clubs to get to radio.
So that's what really boosted your momentum, was doing the club.
100%.
Okay.
And shout out to Pedro, Mystery Live. It started at the Trap House when it used to be.
At the Trap House.
It started at the Trap House, and then I was just smart enough to be like, what are they doing from 7 to 11 here? And they were just like, nothing, they cleaning and this, that, and third. I was like, man, let me just do Thursday, let me see what happens. Traps only. And then he was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah. He loved it. The record with Manolo Rose was booming, and what shocked me was that I could make a post and a lot of artists just signed up, came in deep. You follow the Trappers Only show page to this day. And it's grown from just places that only had 75 capacity to up to 700 to 1,000. So it's just like.
And you was moving numbers.
I mean, and I like I said, shout out to Chanel and Fadden for Legion Media Group. Shout out to Karen Civil, shout out to Amber Ravenel. Like I learned from a lot of bougie PRs, like what was wrong.
Shout out to them.
I used to argue all the time, but now it's just like, okay, I see what they're talking about. It makes sense, okay. You know what I mean? But when you're an artist and you're dealing like with cash and hand over fist, you only see what you want to see. You know what I mean? You don't think 5 months or debate. And all this shit is like fixed. These fights are fixed.
So I know about Benny the Butcher because he's making noise, and
I got a dope record with him. And shout out to Carlos.
Okay, well, I was about to ask you, how did that come about?
Shout out to Carlos, because at the same time when I had that record with Manolo Rose, I had a record called Just Brooklyn. So it was just like, I had records that were getting me jumping, like trap music, like Brooklyn trap music, and they was like, all right, no changes, Just Brooklyn, Benny the Butcher, Griselda, they're coming in 2016. But at the time, it was like Young and Made on radio, and just a bunch of younger artists with that younger sound at that time. So I'm just like, I don't know, I said the bars is here. So he invited me to SOBs.
Shout out to SOBs.
And that's where we met. I really pulled up, this is before No Jews, the deal. And I was like, yo, what's up? And he knew, like he was familiar. Like he was like, yo, I heard your name before, da da da. I was like, I respect Carlos, and it was continuous. So it was like, I would be at Shade 45. Him come, Shade 45, like infamous Amadea, the Lord Said show. Me and Bill Collector went up there, like 9, 10 in the morning to freestyle. BSF is there, doing promo runs. And I just noticed the difference on why people really support them, because they have a family and team that rolls with them, the DJs with them, and cousins with them, the uncles with them, the girlfriends with them, and they're moving. People respect movements, like.
That's a fact.
And when you say Black Soprano family and it's like authentic, he stuck to his niche and it worked for him. And to be able to do a record with him and Method Man, so it's like two.
Wait. How did that happen? Cause that's Method.
I don't steal no credit from nobody. I'm actually better at Math Office Double Barrel video shoot.
Okay.
Where that's when Math is like on fire with battle rap. at that time, before my expert opinion, before all that. So he did the record with Method Man, Double Barrel. And behind the scenes, he was like, yo, Chamberz, I know you from Coney Island. We gotta do something. All those years, like I never really, I watched all my friends do music videos with him. And I'll just be there, even supportive, or I wasn't able to make it. But I would always tag it, share it. And then one day I went to Royal Rumble with China Mac. And he was like, yo, it was like 6 years, when we getting one? And I was like, tomorrow. And I sent him the record, and he sent me the voice note. And I swear to God, he sent me like half of it, like when he was rapping. The next morning I had the full track. And he was like, yo, I'm ready to shoot it when you shoot it. Then the pandemic happened. But, when that happened, I was just collecting a lot of records. Like I had Quarantine Vibes, me and Jacquay put out records. I think I did more in the pandemic than any artist could think of. That whole time, like Benny came to the studio, I was able to just work in cover studio, and that's before I was just sitting in COD or in the Bronx. So like even when I'm shooting at the Bronx, and I would come in like, no, you keep shooting at the Bronx. You a Bronx rapper, bro. You can't be dissing us. But the energy was always, it's just funny. But I guarantee you, anything that you could think of that's crazy, 85% is going to be from that a certain borough. I'm not even saying I'll let the people decide. And, and I think everybody with the French thing, with that, all the people, and I actually know a lot of good people in the Bronx, so it's not like I'm just trolling the situation. I know a lot of good people up there. My father is really from up there.
Okay.
I was born in Harlem, raised in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the songs come from. Maybe that's where the little fast talking shit come from. But like I was raised in Coney Island. My class pictures say 188. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like a mixture of like a lot of stuff.
Okay.
It works.
We work without a queen.
A lot of artists, first of all, the biggest thing, I think, the coolest thing I got knowledge from was Mike Geronimo getting coffee in the store. And he was like, yo.
Break down Mike Geronimo.
For those who don't know Mike Geronimo, he's like a pioneer from the early 90s, the 80s. Like he inspired Nas and like a lot of dope artists. You've seen him with Royal Flush, you've seen him with, they're like, these are just artists, like if you're a real true hip hop fan, and a lot of times you may not have grown up with them, but you know their story, you know their legacy. You should definitely tap into him, tap into Royal Flush. Like these are people that, I watch their career and they still move like humble gentlemen and they go outside of the US and be megastars. So like, when I say that's just Queens, like for Brooklyn I have my own set of like mentors as well. But like for Queens with him, he's like, Chamberz, you know what success is? He's like, success is like, you're out of the hood. Your car's right here in the corner, like you're relaxed. That is a success, so don't drive yourself crazy. And I, once I just knew that, like, cause sometimes we get in this game and we put high expectations on us and it drives us crazy.
Gotcha, because then it becomes an unattainable goal. And
once it seems like a job, it feel like the guy in the warehouse that sits on the damn
thing machine.
The total thing, like it's the same thing all day. Eventually he's gonna be like, I'm tired.
We got crazy on this couch just now, like this.
No, we didn't get crazy on this couch. You know what I mean? But I just love everything. Shout out to all the artists. How do you feel about the drill music thing? I gotta ask you questions. Like people that do the interviews.
Whoa.
How do you feel about the drill music out right now? For real.
As a lot of people know, if you don't, now you do. I work with a lot of the drill artists or whatever, major, up and coming, whatever. And because I understand the music.
She try to get us a lot of it?
No!
Because
I understand the music. It's like, kind of like.
It's a new genre of music, huh?
Right. It's a whole different type of. It's a whole different type of vibe. Like you get what I'm saying? Because whatever you grew up listening to is not what they're growing up.
You know what? Now I just wanted to just get to it. I didn't want you to bash it or nothing.
No, at all.
I think I'm going with the times, and I think people gotta realize. Like I seen the energy, the different energies at Rolling Loud. Like you go to here, everybody was just like they was waiting for some stages look like they was waiting for the bread to come out the oven. Like I was like, what's going on with it? Like, just there like that. And then there's the other side, dudes is crowd surfing. It's like
crazy.
It's the energy, and I think that's why like with times. this is a business. Unfortunately, you gotta know what sells, right? So like, there's people that's true to their culture and they selling their craft, but this industry is about selling gold, selling cars, selling clothes.
Yeah.
Being fashionably bitchy, right? All of that.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
fashionably bitchy all the time. Yo, he's good. Hey, Virgo. Heard you. Heard you. Alright, so I feel like same message, but different touches of the soul when it comes to drugs. Because it touches you in a different way than it would touch you. You know what I'm saying? And whatever Nas, whatever Jay would give. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Because it's not the same feeling.
Until I hear a record like Dear Mama from Drill, then I'll say that. But it's like, it's just different energy.
I don't know if you're, I don't know.
Nah, but you know what I mean? Like, shout out to it. Yo, shout out to
I mean, you can, no, that's not facts, because that would be wrong to say, because there are people that express
no, but
the
see,
loss of.
I was talking to some dudes from Chicago, I mean to cut you off, their termination of drill, like, you have to be shooting stuff. You can't be creative.
Right.
It's like name dropping, I'm outside your door.
Yeah, no, they're serious, like, that's their culture, though.
Right.
Like, you understand, this is a different factor, because we won't get into politics, but their laws and New York gun laws are two completely different things, and how they handle them is way different.
And me and Adams ain't playing, so
yeah, like these boys, Chicago, they situation is a whole lot different, and they can move with it on them.
Word.
Like at all times.
And
so
I'm telling you, every time I look at the news, only reason why we don't see the indictments that's happening because everybody's talking about Ukraine.
Right.
And you know what's going on in Russia. So you know, like it's funny, like how sometimes you gotta be wise of how much to let people know how smart you are. That's why when I tell people warrior mentality, don't think it's just music fighting and try to get on in this industry. I study everything from mentally to spiritually. So like, I'm aware of what's going on out there. And now like people may look at it like, oh, that's just Ukraine now. But they talk about cryptocurrency. Now it's part of the government. 10 years, cash might be depleted. You can't even buy weed in the street no more. Like the Aki's got the weed in the store. Like bacon, bacon, cheese, and white runs. Like, you know what I mean? It's like soon, it's a wrap for a lot of people very soon. And like, you know, get yours, save money. And that's what I tell people. Have no time for the small talk. Okay?
So how do you feel about Fivio?
I mean, I watched him like bring this shit to the game. And like, I don't know who was the first. But I do know, shout out to Comatose Rose. And I remember I was on like Linden and 730. I had no business over there, whatever. But I was over there. You know what I'm saying? So when he was telling me, I think Rowdy just had went in. Like it just had went in. And I met Gino.
Shout out to Gino.
Drizzy, Juliano. I met JD around that time, not a little later, and I met Fivio. And they was like, yo, Fivio had that song, I think The Nine Ain't Dead. And that's the song, like when they was running around with me, wherever I was performing, I would just let them either open or perform it. So when I started the concerts, that's when like they was really like, well, a lot of people started to reach out to them. Like if I could just look at the person's face at E1, I brought Fivio right to him, like, yo, he's the next dude. Oh, yo, who we gotta talk to? And we was talking because, you know, it wasn't even about me. I had down French Toe Records, so I was moving, and because I really was wanting to see what these indie deals was having to offer.
Okay.
So, and there's pictures to prove it. Like, I had these Fivio in the office and everything, and people looked past it. So they waited for Big Drip, and now here we are today. So, like, and it's crazy, like, to hear that story, to see, like, even when I was doing my boom bap, he was like, James, I'm telling you, look! And like, he was just going crazy, like, random. And when I did the record with him, when he came back from Atlanta, I did Throw That Shit. It was me, him, and Drizzy. Now, what happened, why we couldn't put it out, silly politics, but I'm cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Change love everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, and it just showed me how to knew that this sound was coming, but I just had to figure out what sound I could stay true to and still be amongst what's going on. And like Drewski started to take to it. And then I started noticing like, oh shit. They didn't even know it was me at some point. They were like, that's you, Chamberz? And here we are. Yeah.
Top 5?
not gone. They not saying that's my guy. But you know what I'm saying? I would say you change. You know what I'm saying?
As you should.
Respectfully.
Respectfully, I mean, like, you know, if you.
I got a lot of favorite rappers, but then if I feel like I say it, it'll be redundant or like, you know what I mean? I'm a fan of a lot of dope music, but I'm more a fan of the moguls who made millions and billions. They're my top 5. Like, Nick Cannon might be on that list. You know what I'm saying?
And
like, Ross might be on the list. You know what I'm saying? Master P is on that list. Jay-Z, Diddy is like, I have a whole other top 5 for people. Those are my top 5. Like even Cameron, like everybody do a pink horse. Like that's like, and he was
very influential, heavy with the fashion, got you.
Like not just the fashion, just the mindset of getting money. Word. Cameron, like you heard pink horse, like so
he is out of control, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah. Some people be having top 5s for their own personal reasons and lyrical reasons. Mine is business reasons. That's all.
If you have
50 Cent took care of
oh yeah, shout out to 50. That's kind of crazy.
Nah, businessman. Like,
he turned that into a whole empire.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yo, but what I noticed about this industry is like people who like get doubted or have the wrong route path to take. For some reason, within a half a decade to 10, they want to be taking over the whole shit. And it's been historically proven with like groups over and over, like the underdogs. Now that everybody's looking at the Kanye West documentary, everybody's like, whoa!
But
You saw how much you got to see what he was going through, like how people was ignoring him, and now you see why y'all only see the other side. And now like, yo man, keep going, Kanye. Like, it is what it is.
So what's your take on like Lil Baby?
I think it's dope. I mean, why wouldn't it be? I just think if New York had the same mindset to support each artist and move like how the South move, I think we'll be strong as well.
You know, I hear that a lot. Like,
I got one thing that we was talking about in the car coming back like from out of state. Most rappers that run this industry from New York don't even live here anymore. You name it. You know, you don't have to say it. You just say it and you're like, oh, you're in top 5, you're in top whatever. You know, they're not here. So like people always have to venture off to other markets to become larger and then come back. And it's the same for everybody everywhere.
Now, this whole time, he's just been giving you play-by-play.
No time for the small talk.
No time for 6'2", no time for the small talk.
Boots on might be 6'2" and a half, you already. Governor got Tim's on.
Yeah, you know what's so crazy? At the beginning when I first said your slogan, I was like, I was gonna ask you with the Tim's on or with the
It doesn't matter. Don't even matter. Tall.
You know what? I gotta give it to you. This is a great interview. I had fun.
Boom bap to drill rap, trending topics, you know, you've seen the pictures, like I want to show people, like from Method Man, the Benny the Butcher, the Fivio, even the China Max, and they were trending topics, 11224 boys, you see me, you see Nems, Mr. Fuck Your Life, Bing Bong, you see TLG Killer, and you know, we got a lot of dope music that's coming out, and you know, Coney Island, a lot of people, it's time for something new, time for something different, and that's the energy I'm bringing.
About to wrap it up. Vinci, Culture, D Chamberz. Check it out. Tune in next time.